Now to the UK, where the ruling centre-left Labour Party has confirmed Andy Burnham as its new leader. This means that on Monday, the former Mayor of Greater Manchester will take over as Britain's 7th Prime Minister in 10 years. He'll replace the party's former leader, Sir Keir Starmer, who announced his resignation as Prime Minister last month after presiding over political turmoil, scandal and missteps.
This is the moment it became official.
There being no other eligibly nominated candidate, it is therefore my honour to declare that the duly elected leader of the Labour Party is Andy Burnham.
The announcement was met by cheers and the hope that their new leader can somehow revive the struggling Labour government.
We are united, and we put the power that comes from that unity at the service of people and places who have been waiting too long for politics to let them hope again. And that's what we're going to do, everybody. We're going to give them hope back.
But along with his hopeful sentiments, Burnham clearly made the case that the Labour Party must now pull together.
They gave us a fair hearing, as the great British public always do, and then another chance. But let's be honest, everybody, this is a last chance to change, and we must take it together, united together.
Labour will need that unity to fend off the hard-right Reform Party, which has dominated British opinion polls for months.
We won't beat Britain's new right if we are consumed by infighting and pulling in different directions. That is, and always has been, an indulgence that falls heaviest on the people who need Labour most.
Burnham also took the time to credit outgoing Prime Minister Keir Starmer for his achievements.
Under Keir Starmer's leadership, we went from our worst defeat to one of the best victories in our history. Keir put Labour back in a position to change people's lives, and that is what we have been doing these last 2 years.
And while Burnham was heralding Starmer's legacy at the podium, removal vans were already arriving at number 10 Downing Street.
So now Andy Burnham leads the Labour Party, but he's not yet Prime Minister. Our correspondent Birgit Maass in London gave me the roadmap from here.
That's right, Phil. So a few formalities are still in the way. So everything is going to happen on Monday in London. Keir Starmer first needs to go to the King, and the King needs to accept his resignation, and then the King will ask Andy Burnham to form the next government. So the Labour Party will hope that Andy Burnham can then replicate, when he starts to govern properly, that he can then replicate what he has managed to pull off in the north of England. They elected him as their leader today because they have hopes that he can beat the insurgent Reform Party. Elections only in 3 years' time, but Andy Burnham has shown in the north of England that he won decisively in a by-election against Nigel Farage's anti-migrant and populist party, and they will hope that Andy Burnham will lead them successfully into the next election in a few years' time.
OK, tell us more then about Andy Burnham. They call him the King of the North.
They call him the King of the North. He is from the North, and also he spent the last 9 years in the North as the mayor of Greater Manchester. And that's where he managed to grow the economy, to work together with businesses and different what's called stakeholders, so across the board, also across parties. And he was able to grow the economy, and at the same time, poverty in the inner city was also reduced. So he has managed, has a good track record as the mayor of Manchester, and this is also what speaks for him. He's somebody who's quite relaxed. You can already see it in the way he dresses. He wears dark T-shirts. He's got these glasses that look not designerish, but quite simple. So he's somebody who's very relatable to a lot of people, and he's got this style that people say, well, he understands us. He has a certain empathy, and that's probably a contrast to Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister that he's succeeding, who was always a bit more stiff and who had a reputation as being very friendly and charming and funny in person. But as soon as he was basically the TV cameras are on, that he kind of lost it. And Andy Burnham is somebody who can perform. He's very good on social media. So there will be a different style of leadership of the country that's expected.
OK, so Andy Burnham will become the 7th Prime Minister in 10 years, but the problems he has to tackle will stay the same. And what's he promising to do differently from Sir Keir Starmer?
So at the moment, he's promising to have a different narrative. So he says he wants to bring hope back into the country. He says he wants to go back to old Labour values. I understand that as sort of traditional working class values. He wants to reach out to those voters who might feel forgotten in parts of the country. The country is very London-centric, and particularly in the north of England, where Andy Burnham has been for the last 9 years, there are a lot of people who feel that the country is not governed for them. And he said he's going to reach out. He's also going to be more present in the north of England. He's talking about having some of his operations from the north. So that's a big change. The narrative, the sort of selling of a story, I think this is what he's hoping that he can do. When it comes to the substance, he really needs to flesh that out much more. We know that it's not an easy time to govern a country. There is rising deep poverty. There is inequality in the country. The economy has been sluggish, and wages haven't been growing in the same way that people would like it to. And there is a feeling of sort of dissatisfaction in the country. And Andy Burnham has a lot in his in tray, and the British people will just find out from Monday if he's also being able to tackle all these issues, all these problems.
And what do we know of his foreign policy objectives and priorities?
So he doesn't have a ton of experience when it comes to foreign policy. However, that's maybe not so unusual for somebody who takes over as prime minister. It sort of, in a way, comes with a job. And we don't know that much about his foreign policy. He's written one article in a British newspaper. He's said that he wants Britain to have a leadership role internationally. I think there was a message of continuity when it comes to Ukraine. An interesting thing to watch will be the reset with the European Union. So under Keir Starmer, the relations with the European Union have really been much better. He has delivered or has been working on a so-called reset where there are closer links with the European Union on energy, also on a youth exchange scheme, and also on some trade initiative when it comes to food, for example, and agricultural products. And Andy Burnham has been urged by some in his party to have an even deeper relationship with the European Union, try to go for a deeper security pact, because Britain still has a lot of military and diplomatic weight. And this will be interesting to see whether he's actually listening to those and tries to forge closer relations to the European Union. There are some who say, well, they doubt that he's going to spend that much political capital on relations with the EU, because it does take up quite a lot of time, and the result is only going to be in the future. But this will be one very interesting thing to watch.
OK, thanks for that, Birgit. Birgit Maass in London.